Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today from DC and Mattel. In the signature collection, we are featuring the Huntress. Okay, so for this action figure, we are going to jump into the time machine and travel back 10 years to the year 2013, when this action figure was first released. Alright, so if my memory serves me right, by this time period, I think Mattel was taking some time off from doing the DC Classics, DC Universe line of action figures. I think they were no longer at retail for a short period of time, and instead they were only available, I think, through MattyCollector.com, their online service. And that explains why this figure came in a mailer box, which you're looking at right here. If you collected any of the other Matty Collector line of action figures like Masters of the Universe Classics, you know, this white mailer box will be very familiar to you. So on the front of the box, very plain, signature collection, Huntress. It's for the adult collector. And on the back, you're not really getting much here. So let's begin and take this out. And it's out of focus right now. Why is it out of focus? All right, there you go. So you simply just remove the tab, lift it up, and you got your action figure. So excellent presentation on Mattel's part. Signature collection at the top, Huntress, aimed at the adult collector. Beautiful window, frames the figure perfectly. You see her crossbow. On the side, amazing illustration, very lifelike of the Huntress. This artwork is kind of reminiscent of artist Greg Horn. I'm not sure if he's the one that produced it. And then on the back, nice meaty bio on the character. You know, this is something that we don't get much nowadays. So yeah, I'm not going to read this whole thing. It's a lot to read, but it's pretty cool. You know, they give you some background information on her. And before we open this, real quick, I'm going to show off some other Huntress figures that I have in my collection. It's not all of them, it's just some that I had readily available. Alright, so for longtime viewers of my channel, you might remember this from last summer. This was my custom Huntress in the McFarlane DC Multiverse line. And I dig this figure a lot. It kind of looks like Selena Gomez, the head. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. I'm a big fan of Huntress. And here is another figure in my collection. This one I'm really stoked to have. This is from DC Direct. It's from the Batman Hush line. It's their take on Huntress. This figure is really old. This came out way back in, I think, 2003 or 2004. Beautiful figure. And it's, I think, kind of roughly to scale with the Mattel one. Maybe a little bit smaller. But they both pull inspiration from that, you know, early 2000 era Huntress design. So yeah, you know, 3 different Huntress figures. Check out these video reviews in my back catalog if you haven't seen them already. And let's take a look at this right here. Alright, so this is a figure I've been wanting for some time now. The figure came out way back in 2013, and I remember when they announced it. It was one of those things where I knew I wanted it, but I just kept on putting it off. You know, to the point where I just kind of forgot about it. Then some time ago, I was on a Huntress kick, and I was just looking for old Huntress action figures. What kind of started it was I came across some older Kenner Hasbro Huntress figures from the old Justice League line that they did way back in the day. It's like figures that you could buy like at KB Toys, and that kind of jump started my like obsession with like trying to find Huntress action figures. In some ways, it kind of pains me to take this out of the box and break the seal, but it's something I really wanted to add to my collection. And I hope I'm doing this right. I always have a hard time trying to figure out how to open up some of the Mattel boxes. Especially the WWE boxes. There's so many folds and corners. I don't even know where I'm supposed to begin. I'm kind of a mint on box collector half the time, so I kind of, if I could preserve the box, I will. But there's some lines where I'll just rip them off the bubble and just play around with them. But this is a nice figure, so I don't want to F it up too bad. Alright, so first impressions of the Huntress while she's in the tray. Very reminiscent of, the Mattel Classics era. But, there's, I think, some detailing on here that kind of takes it a step above all the DC Classics, DC Universe figures that came before her. Her belts, holsters, straps, and pouches, they're really well done, very cleanly sculpted. The color scheme is, really matches the Huntress. The figure's face sculpt kind of worried me at first, because I remember seeing photos of it, and I didn't think it looked all that great, but having the figure in hand, it looks a lot better than I thought it would be. There's her crossbow. I might leave this in the box for now. It seems like it's kind of rubber band in, and I don't want to bother cutting this off. So we're just going to look at the figure primarily. Let's get her out. Alright, I gotta, give me a moment, I gotta thread this cape out of the back. It's like stuck. There we go. Alright, so we have Mattel's take on the Huntress from their signature line. This came out post DC Classics, post Universe, during that period of hiatus before they brought it back. Nice blue dry brushing effect on the hair. Really brings out the edges, adds some volume depth to it. The horns, I think, are a little bit soft. I think they could have been a little bit more pointy. It's kind of reminiscent of like old school Hawkeye and Wolverine. The face isn't bad. It's pretty decent. Really impressed though with the body armor. Getting some... I think these are all unique pieces. I don't think these pieces were used on any other figure except for the Huntress. With the pouch and the gauntlets on the arms. Really impressed with the belt and the pouch strap here. This is very reminiscent of Jim Lee's design in Hush. There's a holster and non-functioning pistol. You can't take that out. I kind of wish she had thicker soles on her boots. Like the Jim Lee, a Hush version of Huntress had those like heavy boots that were pretty popular in the 90s. The articulation, very standard for this time period. You're not getting a whole lot compared to the action figures of today. But it's not bad. But, you're getting like single pins for the joints. There's a cut beneath the breast line, so you can kind of swivel. I don't think there's a waist swivel on this figure. Oh no, it's an ab crunch. I take it back. This is kind of hidden. A little bit tight. I don't want to force it. Legs kick up, and they kick out. They kick outward, I think. And then single pin to knees. Overall, beautiful figure. And let's take out the DC Direct one. So for me, this figure wins visually. I think it's a gorgeous figure. I've said this in other videos. Some of these older DC Direct figures, they don't age all that well. And when I say that, I don't mean like in terms of like, their aesthetic or their presentation. Like physically, some of these materials get kind of like borderline like disintegrating, especially like the softer rubbery materials they use for capes. If you ever hunt down this figure on eBay, you'll be surprised at how often the cape is like melting on this figure. That you'll find often that the the paint's coming off, and it just looks disgusting. But if you can find this figure mint, it's well worth the purchase. It's a gorgeous piece. I think this is like my favorite iteration of the character. You know, it's the same costume design, but you're just having two different interpretations by different companies. And you can see the comparison here. They both have the pouch on the bicep, armored forearms, but slightly different designs. I do like the Mattel's belt a little bit better. They both have the pistol harness, or the pistol holster on the leg. This one has the Jim Lee actually designed knee pads and boots. So, great figure overall. And if you're into collecting higher priced collectible action figures, Mafex has their Huntress figure out. And it looks gorgeous as well. So yeah, beautiful figure. If you're a fan of the Huntress, I highly suggest you hunt down these older figures. If you get them for a fair price, you know, pull the trigger. Don't put them off, especially this one. This is a beautiful display piece. All the figures from the DC Direct Hush line are amazing. You know, even though the figures are like anywhere between 19 and 20 years old, I still think visually they really hold up well. Right, so let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I will see you at the next one. All right, later.